we have been working on finding ways to engineer opportunities to prevent damage or lessen damage caused by natural disasters, okay? Our standard is to develop solutions that could be implemented to reduce the impact of weather-related hazards. Remember, implemented means to put something into action. Reduce the impact means to lessen the damage. So we are trying to come up with action plans to lessen the damage caused by natural disasters. Fact: humans cannot stop natural disasters from occurring. Another fact: humans can create solutions to lessen the damage done by them. So that's what we're going to be working on, is coming up with ways to lessen the damage that is caused by natural disasters. Today, we are going to focus on hail storms, okay? So we're going to look at some hail storms. I'm going to play this video for us to build some background knowledge, and then we will begin reading about the impact that hail has on humans and the environment.
Damage buildings and cars and cause serious injuries to people and animals. But exactly what is hail and how does it form? Hail consists of lumps or balls of ice which are produced inside thunderstorms. To form hailstones, we need the same kind of conditions we had in last episode, where ice crystals and snow pellets are colliding to produce lightning inside a storm cloud. One important detail needs to be added here though. Nearly the entire cloud where this is taking place is made up of supercooled water droplets. These water droplets are at well below freezing temperatures, but they remain in liquid form because in order to freeze, they need some bit of physical matter to freeze onto. Ice crystals lofting on the storm's updrafts grow and form into snowflakes higher up in the cloud by collecting these supercooled water droplets on their surfaces, and the snowflakes in turn gather droplets as they fall back down through the cloud, which turn them into snow pellets. In a normal thunderstorm, that tends to be the extent of it. The cloud produces lightning from the ice crystals and snow pellets bumping together, and the snow pellets melt into raindrops before they reach the ground. In a particularly intense thunderstorm, though, where stronger updrafts are able to catch the falling snow pellets and keep them aloft inside the cloud, it starts the process of producing hail. If the updrafts are just strong enough to keep the snow pellets from falling any farther, the pellets will bob and spin in place, gathering more and more supercooled droplets, which freeze solid, growing the hailstone almost continuously until they are finally too heavy for the updrafts and they fall to the ground. With even stronger updrafts, the snow pellets are not only caught, but lofted back up towards the top of the cloud. Supercooled water freezes into a solid crust around them on the way up, and when they fall, they gather a slushy, mostly frozen layer on the way down. And depending on the strength of the updrafts, this can happen again and again, forming alternating layers of denser and slushier ice around the hailstones as they go on each trip around the cloud, before they finally grow too large to be kept aloft and they fall to the ground. Cut one of these hailstones open, and they will look more like an onion on the inside with layers. Collisions between hailstones can result in them sticking together and growing as one larger mass, which then plummets towards the ground as a huge knobby lump of ice. In these ways, you can get hailstones that range from pea size all the way up to softball size, and even the monsters we've seen, like this one, the largest hailstone ever recorded, which fell from a storm that passed over Vivian, South Dakota on July 23, 2010. It measured over 20 centimeters across. The danger from hail isn't just from its size, but how fast it's falling. Small hailstones can reach a terminal velocity of around 30 kilometers an hour, which can certainly sting, but the larger ones, just 8 centimeters across, the size of a softball, can hit the ground traveling at up to 175 kilometers per hour. When a hailstone that size strikes the ground at that speed, it's enough to dent metal, shatter glass, and even break bones. So now that we know all about hail, come back for episode 4, when we look at how a severe thunderstorm can spawn one of the most dangerous forms of weather we know, a tornado, as we all become a bit more weather-wise.
All right. I did not know that you could look at hail and see that it was bouncing up and down in the clouds. That was new information to me. Alrighty, Steve, I'm going to invite you to stop on what I already sent you a message about so that you can get with us. We're about to go on to slide 3. Alrighty, slide 3, and then Miss Camille, we're not on Google Docs right now. We're on Seesaw. want to make sure we're all together and ready before we begin. Still waiting on a few screens to be on slide 3 of our seesaw assignment titled Solutions for Hail and Blizzards. Miss Camille and Steve, I am still waiting on you. Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Camille, we're going to slide 3. Okay. It says, as you read on slides 4 through 9, you are going to highlight the impact that hailstorms have on human life and highlight the impact that hailstorms have on the environment. I want you to be thinking about a solution that could contain the damages. Instead of completing one as a class today, you're going to go into some breakout rooms and share your ideas and come up with a solution plan in your breakout rooms for preventing the damage from hail. Remember, we can't stop the storm. We can't stop the hailstorm from coming, but we can get things in place to make sure that the impact on humans and the environment is less. Let's look at slide 4. Again, we are going to highlight the impact on humans and the environment. Slide 4 says, a hailstorm is wild weather. When the clouds go very high, the rain gets frozen into hailstones. The hailstones can hurt people. They can break the windows of a car. The biggest ones are as big as a ball. So we've just read that they can hurt people. They can break windows of a car. Humans drive cars, so that is an impact on human life. Let's take a look at slide 5 again, looking for information on the impact on humans and the environment. How it forms. Hail forms in storm clouds that are filled with water droplets and wind. Water falls and the wind pushes the droplets to the tops of the clouds. It is cold up there and the drops get an icy coating. No impact on humans or the environment there, so let's move on to slide 6. Looking for impact on humans and the environment. The balls of ice fall back down and the wind pushes them up again. They bounce around like ping pong balls. Each time they go to the tops of the clouds, they get another layer of ice. Okay. Slide 7. Highlight the impact on humans and the environment. Eventually, the ice balls become too heavy for the wind to blow them back up. They fall to the ground as hailstones. Hail falls fast from the sky. Baseball-sized hail can travel 90 miles per hour. Okay, that is very, very, very fast for something very heavy to be fallen. Terrence, an idea?
You go back to slide 6.
Sure. There was nothing to highlight there.
Okay.
11, an idea?
I think I know the reason why why hail comes down so fast. The heavy ones can't, the heavy ones can't catch gravity.
Yeah, so gravity is definitely going to be pulling those hailstones down faster. The more mass that they have, the more dense they are, the less the wind can push up against them and keep them from picking up speed. Leah, an idea?
So on the cars, we can maybe try and make some stronger glass.
Okay, so yeah, we saw shattered windshields and windows, so perhaps we could engineer stronger glass so that it can take impact from hailstones. Christopher?
I'm trying to make something like clothing, but stronger so it doesn't hurt us humans.
Okay, so kind of like some type of armor that we could wear in our clothing. So maybe like a jacket that has some stronger material that can protect our bones and our bodies. All right, interesting. Let's look at slide 8 and continue reading. This was very interesting to me. Again, we're looking for impact on humans and the environment. You can cut open a hailstone and see how many times it made it to the tops of the clouds. Each ring is another layer of ice that was added. Some hail has just a few layers, but others have many. So this photograph is showing you a zoomed in view, and each one of these rings that we see is showing you how many times the hail made it to the top of the clouds. So we have the stone here that then got another layer of ice. So that's one time, a second time up to the cloud, a third time up to the cloud, a fourth time to the top of the cloud, and then all of this out here as a fifth time to the top of the cloud. So this hailstone was bouncing up and down in the cloud at least 5 times because it got 5 new rings. No impact on humans or the environment here. Let's take a look at slide 9. Hail only lasts a few minutes, but the damage can be great. It can break windows and ruin roofs. I'm going to change my color because that's hard to see. It can break windows and ruin roofs. It can dent cars and destroy farm crops. Some farm crops are wiped out from a hailstone in just a few minutes. So we can see that photograph here of damage to plants. The plants are unable to continue growing because we can see that they've been pushed down to the ground. It looks like their branches have been snapped. Looks like this trunk right here snapped off of that plant. Down here, hail can cause injury to people too. So be sure to get inside if hail is heading your way. Okay. So this slide had a lot of impact on humans and the environment. We saw continued damage to cars. We learned that it can damage farming crops. We saw that it can also cause injury to people. You have lots of problems that you could choose to try to engineer a solution for the damage for. So in your groups, you guys could think about how to stop the damage for cars, how to prevent the damage to farming crops, how to prevent the damage to human bodies. And we heard some of those ideas: stronger glass. Christopher suggested some clothing that has a protective layer on it. I'd be interested to see if a group can come up with an idea for farming crops as well. How could we protect farmers' crops? All right. While I set up these breakout rooms, does anyone have any ideas that they would like to share on how on how we can help prevent damage from hailstorms? Josh, do you have an idea?
We can create like stronger clothes from them.
Okay. So clothing, you're kind of agreeing with Christopher's idea from earlier. We can look at maybe some protective outfits that we can wear if we're going to know about hail coming. All right. Leah, what do you think?
For the farmers, like we can make a little roof over them that's like really strong so the crops won't get destroyed.
Okay. So we could add some type of roofing in order to keep farms protected. I think my only question would be then how would the crops get sunlight? So you would have to think about the material. There are materials that aren't going to block the sunlight. So that would be an interesting thought. Steve, an idea?
So I have something to add on to Leah's. What if they had like artificial sunlight, or just cut a tiny hole in it so the sun could reach in?
Okay, you could be onto something that you're engineering there. So you could either have a solid material but allow sunlight to come in, or you could think of a material that would allow sunlight to come in without holes there. Oscar, an idea?
it's is it's also from Leah's question. And we can put glass, but like many layers of them,
Okay.
for it
So
cannot break in.
okay. So lots of layers of glass above a farm, because we know that hail can break glass, but if we have many layers, perhaps there's more of a chance of that surviving. Interesting. Alrighty, let me make this so that you guys can unmute so that I can get these rooms set up at the same time. There we go. Alrighty, A to G, an idea.
Well, you can use cement and bricks. So you put holes in the bricks, then you put like a wall and like a wall on top of the plants, so the hail can't get in and destroy the plants.
Okay, interesting. Terrence, an idea.
So, it's not the same roof thing as Leah, but it can work with that idea.
How
So
so?
I was thinking, so you know how it bounces back up?
Mm-hmm.
I would make the concrete harder or the ground harder, so when it tries and bounces, it breaks.
Okay, interesting. So that
And
it would have a
then
material change.
if it was by crops, I would put a roof over it.
Okay, so you guys have talked about how to protect humans with some clothing options. You've protected crops in a way. I'm interested to see what creative ideas you come up with today. On slide 10, this is what you're getting ready to complete with your partner in your breakout room. It is the same form that we have been using. I want you to start off by talking about what impact you are going to solve. Are you focusing on human life, or are you focusing on an environment issue? Okay, you and your group are going to decide. Then you and your group are going to share your ideas and write them in one sentence, and then come up with the plan to make your idea work. At the bottom, explain how you know your solution will work. Do not forget, please, to complete this. Draw a picture of your solution in the space below. So you and your group are going to come up with one idea that you are going to create a plan for. All right. I'm going to give you guys about, let's go with 15 minutes to work on this. And then you will come back and we'll share out some of the ideas for the last 5 minutes of class. Okay. So share your ideas with your group, and we will come back together and share out our ideas at the end. Here you go. All right, guys, you have been working in a breakout room on solutions for the impact that hail can have on either people or the environment. Does anyone have a solution that their group came up with which they would like to share? Leah, go ahead and share your screen with us, sis. Talk with us about the solution that your group came up with.
So what my team said, we can make a roof with light and the crops, and we get the bricks, and these are the bricks over the crops, and then we get a light so the crops can grow, and then we test it. And the picture over here, this is the dirt, and this is roots, and this is the crops, and this is the light trying to grow the crops.
Okay. And what is the purpose of the roof? What is the roof going to do?
It's going to make it so the hail won't destroy the crops.
Okay, interesting. So you guys have figured out a way to prevent damage to an environment in a hailstorm. Thank you, Leah. Terrence, an idea that you want to share.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, you want to go ahead and share your screen with us?
Sorry about my drawing. I can't draw.
Oh, sir, you can. Go ahead and share with us what you've come up with.
So, I was thinking make a harder floor, and the materials we need is just pavement.
And what would the harder floor do?
Make it so it bounces off the street or the hard surfaces.
Okay, So it's not going to cause damage such as like cracks or damage to what else?
The cars, and so it won't get harder layers. So when it hits the ground, it'll just get one layer.
Oh, I see what you're thinking. Okay, so the hail gets more layers when it's in the clouds, when it's bouncing up in the clouds. But perhaps if we had a harder pavement, then when it fell onto the ground, it might shatter instead of jumping up a bit and maybe rolling around. So it would contain it more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. Aiden G, did you have an idea you wanted to share? All righty.
So these are 3 layers. So I put the brick on top, the metal in the middle, and the wood right in where the metal is. And I didn't finish. So the plants are supposed to be here, and I was gonna put tiny holes in each layer so some sun can get inside and make the plants grow.
Okay, so talk to me about why you made multiple layers. Why do you think we need multiple layers?
It's because, like, if one layer breaks, the other layer will protect it.
Okay, so it's kind of like a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. All right, thank you for sharing. All righty. You today are going to now complete research on preventing damage for the final weather hazard that we're going to take a look at before your project tomorrow. You are going to take a look at how to lessen the impacts of a blizzard. Remember, we cannot stop the blizzard, but we can lessen the damage and impact of it, okay? There is a video on slide 12 for you to watch. There's actually two videos to watch about blizzards. And then as you have been all week, you're going to read the text and highlight the impact on human life, highlight the impact on the environment. As you're reading, think about a solution that can contain the damages. On slide 20, 19, you will discuss a possible solution for how to prevent the damages that are caused by blizzards. Okay? That is your assignment for today.